You're listening to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon, presented by 92.9 Tom FM, an iHeart radio station.
Hello, and welcome to Pop Culture Weekly, presented by 92.9 Tom FM, an iHeart radio station. I am Kyle McMahon. I'm so excited because I interviewed the legendary Michael Bolton for episode 9 of Pop Culture Weekly. This is a special episode which just contains the actual interview. So I am so excited to have Michael on. He is hysterically funny. He's amazingly talented. He is a genuinely, really, really nice guy. First of all, he's been in the industry for 50 years this year. He was 15 years old when he signed his first record deal. He has gone on to sell over 75 million records. He has 16 top 40 hits. 2 of those went to number 1. He has multiple, 6 in fact, American Music Awards, 2 Grammys. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So for the interview, I asked him about his Netflix special, Michael Bolton's Big Sexy Valentines. It is so funny. I love it, and I watch it every year. It came out 2 years ago. I've watched it every year since. It is awesome. Appointment viewing Valentine's Day show. So I asked him about that. I asked him about working with Lady Gaga. I asked him about his new album, A Symphony of Hits, which is all of his greatest hits, backed by a 65-piece orchestra. And I also asked him about his new product, which is a fragrance line called Time, Love, and Tenderness. And I think that is just perfect product synergy right there. So enjoy this very special episode of Pop Culture Weekly. It is the all-interview episode. So thank you for tuning in. And here it is, presented by 92.9 Tom FM, an iHeart radio station, my interview with Michael Bolton.
Thank you so much, and thank you for doing this interview. I really, really appreciate it.
I appreciate you taking the time.
So you are celebrating your 50th year in music. How does that feel to be able to have a career that has spanned so many years?
Well, it feels surreal and amazing and scary how quickly the time passed. I was 16 when I signed with Epic Records. Not far from the iHeart studio, actually.
Oh, okay.
And when I got to New York to record, I looked in the Columbia Records and Epic Records, and it was CBS back then. And I thought, wow, this is what making it feels like. And then 18 years later, 9 albums with 4 different record labels, and I finally had a hit as an artist.
Wow. That is incredible. And then, of course, from there, you just continued to soar through the music stratosphere, if you will.
Well, something amazing happens that probably happens in different arenas for people. But I was making records that weren't hitting, and some friends of mine suggested I consider writing for other artists while pursuing my career as a solo artist. I started writing songs for other people, and I kind of got into this community of songwriters where I learned so much about how important the songs are. They're the most important thing. There are a lot of great singers out there, a lot of great voices, but it's all about the material, and I learned that while basically trying to survive by songwriting. And that's what fed my career. When I finally started having hits in '87, That's What Love Is All About was the first one. Then Dock of the Bay, and then Soul Provider came out. It was really important that I understood the content of a great song and the craft of writing it. So it would be on the radio, so it could be enjoyed by a lot of people. And then writing my life experiences in 4-minute increments.
Right.
Everything took off, but the selection of songs for each album was so important to me. Of course, we're talking about a time in the late 80s and all the way to the mid 90s when you used to be able to write or have 5 hit singles on one album.
Right.
And so you'd go through an entire year or more than a year of being on the charts, and your album would stay there. And I learned not to be hungry for that number one record as much as to make music that was going to be around a long time. And fortunately, that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we still play your songs to this day, from album one all the way up to what you're doing today. And that voice,
I appreciate that, by the way. I know that, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. That voice that you have, it's so iconic, and you've kept it in pristine condition. I saw you perform on Wendy Williams last week, and it is absolutely incredible. If I were you, I'd be singing every single thing I did all day long. You know, I'd be singing, I want some fried chicken and I want it now. You know what I mean? Like everything. I would just be singing all the time. How have you kept your voice since the day I first heard you the exact same?
Well, thank you, first of all. And one of the ways I've kept my voice in pretty strong condition for the most part throughout, year after year, is by not singing "I want fried chicken" and "I want it." like voice. Although you did a good job with that, and I was thinking, I don't think I know that song. There's a certain thing that we all professional singers know as voice rest. And sometimes what happens if you're on the road for a long time and you're getting exhausted, the voice becomes exhausted. And fortunately, you can pace yourself and decide how many shows to do each year, how much time off in between, diet, sleep, things that aren't the things that wear down your voice. And I look at Tony Bennett, and he's like 92 years old, I believe.
Right.
And I see him all over the world, just traveling and doing these shows, and he's amazing. And and I see singers that I'm not sure whether they didn't take care of their voice or they, maybe had some, rough patches or something, and you can hear the voice has changed a lot. But there is a level of respect you have to have for these two vocal cords. It's just two muscles that create all that sound, and that all those cars in the parking lot have been driven there to see and hear you. So I feel a tremendous amount of responsibility of being in great vocal shape by the time it's showtime every show. Pacing is important.
That's awesome, and I'm so glad to hear that it's such a conscious decision for you. That's something that I really didn't ever consider until you brought that up.
It's very much like sports, very much like any athlete who depends on, being physically 100% for every game or every fight or whatever it is. It is a pretty physical experience. But you do, I think, singers who are serious about their voices become a life support system for these two vocal cords. And it's no joke, especially when you're on the road. If you're out and, say, doing 60 or 70 shows, there's really no margin for error. There's not like, shouldn't have had those 19 drinks.
Right.
There's none of that when you look at the schedule and it's booked 5-6 months ahead. Everything that helps you is what you need more of, and everything that drains you or inflames your vocal cords is your enemy. As much fun as it would seem. Like the band can hang out and laugh and joke around after shows, and it's fun having dinner with them and hanging, but then I wind up overusing my voice. Right. And I look at my watch and I go, well, I love you guys. I'm going to bed, or I'm going back to my room to be quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly, you've nailed it on the head. It really is, as you're telling me this, it really is like an athlete.
Yeah, and one difference I'm really grateful for is my friends who are athletes, and some really great famous ones. The window starts closing on their career when they're like in their mid-30s. There's somebody faster on the bench, somebody who hasn't had chronic injuries, or there's something always kind of threatening the winding down of an athletic career. And as a singer, that's not the case. Decisions you make will be what decides upon when that window closes or not. I was really fortunate to have a pretty big body of hits around the world that are now, if I'm in Asia, it's the karaoke culture. All the ballads are in there.
Right.
and generally around the world, they're familiar with the first hits that I had. And so I don't take that for granted. It's just, and I'm not exaggerating about the analogy with athletes, because I have so much respect for great athletes. But the ones that I know, they're not the ones who are hanging out and partying after,
right,
after games or fights. They take care of their instrument, and I'm really grateful.
And that, that has worked out amazingly for us too, so we appreciate that. And then your Netflix special, Michael Bolton's Big Sexy Valentine's Day special, is so hysterically funny. How was that? How was that conceived? I guess is the right word.
It's a scary word to use around that film.
Right.
Conceived. Maybe the film could have been called that. It started with the Lonely Island guys, with Andy Samberg and Yarma and Akiva, who pitched me and my manager in Los Angeles on this video. And I was already a huge fan. I was such a fan of everything they'd done with Justin Timberlake, and like probably Natalie Portman was one of my favorite ones, the angry rapper.
Right.
And I couldn't wait to do something with them. But the first script that they sent was hilarious, but it was so disgusting I couldn't do it. It was vulgar.
Okay.
In a way that I got what was funny about it, but I thought a lot of my fans might not necessarily appreciate it.
Right.
And they said, no, we get that a lot. We can tweak it. We can make it, more palatable for everybody. But their brand, of course, is pushing the envelope in all of that. It's crossing the line a half a dozen times over. And they kept sending me different versions until I finally, on tour, I was in Atlanta. And I saw an email from Andy, opened it up, and it was the script in a form that I could do. And I got so excited, and I responded immediately, this is great, I can do this. When, where, how do we do it? And they said, find a recording studio in Atlanta, which is easy, and we'll be on Skype, and we'll produce it. And next thing I knew, we were headed to New York, and 2 14-hour days, long days in New York filming, but didn't feel long at all. You're laughing your butt off, basically,
right,
the entire time you're filming with them. And that's how they like it. They want their guests to be really comfortable,
right,
and just having fun. And that winds up reading on the screen. So two long days, a lot of editing, and that very same Sunday, the day after Saturday Night Live aired it, it started getting 1 million views per day and went insane.
Yeah.
And that led to more producers and other people in the business in North America calling and asking if I would do this show, if I wanted to develop a show, if I would be a guest on another show. And I wound up doing different spots and really enjoying it. And I thought, as long as I can somehow keep music involved and make it comedy that everybody appreciates, but somehow connect the dots to the music, that's what we're trying to do, is create our own show. And the natural one, the next one, was working with Netflix, who were such a pleasure to work with, because they let us be creative. They let our directors and writers do their thing.
Right.
And then they came in every once in a while to watch certain scenes, like the Sarah Silverman event was hilarious.
Yes.
Randall Park.
Yeah.
It seemed like they just dropped in to see some of their favorite people.
Right.
And otherwise, creatively, they said, you know what you're doing, so have fun with it, make it funny. That's all we want. We want it to be successful, and it was.
Yeah, it is appointment viewing every year around this time for me. I love it, and I hope.
That's great to hear.
Will you ever have a follow up to it?
I think about it all the time. I mean, I don't spend all the time thinking about it, but suddenly I remember. We've got to figure out what the theme is for the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, we probably would be wise to do a different one for every major holiday.
Right. Yeah, that'd be awesome. So you did a song called Murder My Heart with Lady Gaga for your One World, One Love album.
Yes.
What was it like working with her?
It was one of my favorite writing sessions.
Oh, wow.
I had never heard of her because her album hadn't come out yet. Her album's coming out in about 2 months. And I got a phone call from the record company saying she was a big fan and wanted to write with me. And they sent me one song. Well, they sent me two songs, but all I needed to hear was the first one, Just Dance.
Yeah.
And I drove to LA. We wrote till 4:30 in the morning, finished in London, and her album came out and just exploded. And she was such a pleasure to work with. She has such a great work ethic. She reminded me of me at the beginning of everything happening.
Oh, wow.
Being willing to do the work, which I recommend to all artists, is to become a partner with their champions, whether it's the record label or some sort of team that's fighting for you. You need to show up for your own career and put the work in. Nothing replaces the work if you have the talent.
I love that.
So I recommend that to everybody.
I absolutely love that.
It's kind of nice having on my resume. It's nice seeing wrote with Bob Dylan.
Yeah. For Steel Bars, right?
For Steel Bars. And that was an out-of-body experience. And wrote with Lady Gaga, who is now becoming this as big as it gets.
Yeah.
It's a good resume.
Yeah. Oh, I'd say so. So your new album, A Symphony of Hits, it takes 12 of your greatest hits, and then you re-recorded them with new arrangements and put a full 60-piece symphony behind you?
65-piece.
65-piece. What was your inspiration for that?
Well, I had recorded and performed with orchestras before, but most of the time when there's orchestras involved, there's usually a Christmas album. I've done a few holiday albums where beautiful arrangements of these classic songs are known and loved by everybody. But in the mid to late 90s, I was invited to sing with Luciano Pavarotti.
Right.
And I was thinking, what will I do with him? I am a tenor, but we don't call ourselves tenors in popular music and R&B and rock, any of our genres. We don't use that term. But it means you have a vocal range where you can sing some of the most famous, beloved arias of all time. And Pavarotti invited me to sing with him. So I started studying him, and my eyes would continuously well up while listening to his greatest performances. He was clearly the greatest tenor of all time, to me, to this day. And I was a nervous wreck about learning Italian and learning the proper way to sing these songs. But one of the great pluses that happened was every time I got ready to perform with him or performed with him, we were singing to an entire symphony orchestra. And I fell in love with having an orchestra surround my voice and pick the songs that are perfect for the orchestra. And the opportunity to do the greatest hits, that's a gift from my fans, being fans and supportive of all the songs, of all the hits through all the years. And doing it with a symphony orchestra and being part of making the arrangements come to life made it that much more gratifying for me.
Right.
And so every time we performed the hits, sometimes some of the songs maybe 1,500 times already, if not more, in the last 30-something years.
Yeah.
And here's a way to bring them to life and bring these emotional movements of violas and cellos and violins and French horns. And it's majestic and it's emotional and it's so satisfying. So I would say it was largely singing with Pavarotti really took me to the next level of love of orchestra. And we recorded it in Perth, Australia. Then I toured Australia with it. And now we're performing in Florida. I'm doing several, I think maybe 8 or 10 shows through the end of February with a symphony orchestra every night.
Wow. And are any news, maybe would you think about touring the rest of the states?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
awesome.
We're looking at that now. Now, you get spoiled with a symphony, with an orchestra.
Right.
You get sonically, emotionally, musically spoiled after performing every night with them. It's not that I don't enjoy performing with my band, but now we're so used to it. We
of course.
Love it.
Yeah.
And we're actually going to be performing with an orchestra and National Symphony Orchestra in Washington, D.C. on May 21st. Is that the Kennedy Center? At the Kennedy Center. I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh, wow. That'll be incredible. That'll be absolutely incredible. And then, that is amazing. I'm looking forward to that now for you.
I'll see the show.
Absolutely. As a fan, I mean, that's going to be incredible.
And then this, I love that you have done this. You have a new fragrance coming out called Time, Love, and Tenderness, which seems like a perfect fit for you and your brand. Like literally, as when I heard you talk about it on the Wendy Williams show, I'm like, wow, that's perfect. What led you to do that?
So it was brought to me by someone who develops new products with a company named Great Health Works.
Okay.
And this woman really knows what she's doing and walked us through the possibility of this 3-part set fragrance, body lotion, shower wash, and perfume. The perfume is love. The others are time and tenderness. And the perfume smells beautiful. I'm far from an expert on creating these, so they brought me different options.
Okay.
And I'm smart enough to ask women around me their opinion, and it was unanimous that this was the first, this is going to be the start of the fragrance line for me. And so it's going over really well so far. And again, I'm learning the nature of that business and that world. But fortunately, my fans were really excited about it, and they're all kind of getting their hands on it immediately.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. And like I said, when you were talking about it, I was like, wow, like there could not be a more synergistic product for you to do.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So thank you, Michael Bolton, for first of all being a legend and being so amazing, talking to me, and you're just an awesome guy, besides an absolutely legendary singer and songwriter. And I cannot wait for a Symphony of Hits to come out, and I can't wait to see you on the road.
Thank you so much. I look forward to, having you as our guest on the road, give you all access passes so you can hear the show from anywhere you are.
Oh, thank you.
So, thank you for all your support.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it so much.
So there it is, my interview with the legendary Michael Bolton. Don't you think he's absolutely hysterical? He is such a funny guy that if he didn't have this giant music career that spanned 50 years, he could have been a really big comedian. And he's so genuine. He's so nice. He's so genuine. I just had a ball with him. So thank you for listening. If you like this, I appreciate if you could subscribe to the podcast. It definitely helps us. Give us a review. Tell us what you think. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at PopCulturePodCA and on Facebook at Pop Culture Weekly. And follow me. I'm at KMacMusic on Twitter and Instagram, and at Real Kyle McMahon on Facebook. Thank you guys so much, and we'll be back next week for another brand new episode of Pop Culture Weekly.